Well, I just want to thank everybody for their time this evening. This is the Seniors Network, and tonight is Let's Talk About Seniors. So anybody feel free. Actually, Debbie, why don't you start us off with your question?
So my question is, tell me where your top 3, 4, whatever lead sources are. And it doesn't have to be strictly seniors, but where are you getting your top leads from? Are you paying for them? Are you generating them, and how?
Yeah, so I'll go. 95% of my business comes from my sphere of influence, reaching out to past clients, people I know, people I want to know. And then probably, I would say probably 5% is definitely referral from other agents. And where they're finding me, it seems I don't know if they just Google me, but they're not people I know, or there's not like a direct correlation. So I'm not sure how these agents find me, but they are like within our own company. Yeah, I would say this last year, all my referrals came from somebody from the same company.
So what are you doing to stay in touch with your past clients?
Love that you asked that. I have been working still on my business plan to see what I'm going to do this year. So for me, I decided I was going to put like a chart together and say, I'm going to do baseball schedules. I'm going to do football schedules. I'm going to do a market analysis. I'm going to do 4th of July something. I started a little book of dates to remember, and I've put in there the closing date of every sale that I've had, so that I can use that as one of my touches. And then when I hear something or see something on Facebook, or they had a child, or something that they've done, they got married, got a new job, I write it in my book of dates. And then when it comes back around, it's something that I'll be looking at. It's kind of a strange book, but it's about this thick, 1 page per day. So there's 365 pages. And anything that I know about happen on this day, I took that from, how they have those pages of things to remember from years past. I thought that would be really cool to be able to look back and say, okay, on this date, maybe it was a year ago or 5 years ago or whatever, just things to remember. So I've been doing that, and that seems to keep me in the know of what's going on with past clients.
That's a fantastic item. I love that. Where are you at, Jody?
I live in Northeast Ohio. I'm licensed in Michigan and Ohio. So I do about probably half of my business in Michigan and half in Ohio.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Who else?
I can go. I'm new to this group. Donald, thank you for making the introduction. My name is Catherine Cranenberg, and I live in Boston, and I've been in real estate since 2009. I started in Washington, D.C., where I'm still licensed in D.C. and Maryland. Moved to Boston 4 years ago, and I'm not quite sure what the whole introduction part is. I logged on a little bit late, but Donald and I are doing a fabulous sphere building class together, and I just officially met him yesterday. So I'm really happy to be here. If there's anything that I can share that is helpful for you guys, let me know. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to listen in and for now. Unless there's anything you want to ask of me right now?
So where did you get the majority of your 2021 business? What's your top lead sources?
Um, referrals is one of them, not the lead one, but definitely one of them. And the other one is social media. So I do a lot through Instagram and Facebook, but mostly Instagram, and have built relationships with other agents through that. And friends here have seen it and passed on my information to them. So those are my two big ones right now. And I would like to add, now that COVID is supposedly a little bit better, more open houses. A lot of agents didn't want, other agents doing their open. So I think that's kind of changing as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing.
Anybody else? Amy? I know your picture disappeared. Maybe she stepped away. Dan?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think a meeting or two ago, mainly I'm doing the Google ads. And I started that when we had a session here where somebody was talking about, I think it was actually maybe even been Debbie or the other person who does the technology, trying to remember.
Yep, it was me.
It was you? Okay. Yeah. And so I just got on there and I just set something up, and it seems to be, pulling couple of 3 leads a week. So now my challenge is converting those leads. They're not the most responsive, but the most activity I'm having on my KV Core is just from people that have come in through different avenues. I used to run some Facebook ads that I said, tired of climbing stairs. That was my attempt to hit the senior group. And so, some of them are still poking around, and so just kind of some various ads that I've done in the past. I got people kind of just looking at this point, and then I keep in touch with all of them, and they go into my database, and I keep in touch, and I do my weekly newsletter to keep them, to keep my name out in front of them. And I'm trying to figure out my strategy for this year, because I've got several things that several avenues I'm looking to do. I'm just trying to figure out what expense and ad I want to do for them, with the express offers, the EXP relocation, and
Nope, you muted yourself. Are you there, Dan?
how I want to integrate those into my marketing plan, and how much I want to spend on each.
So where are you doing your newsletter? Email? How are you producing it?
Yeah, I do it right on the KV Core, and then I send the mass mail through their system.
So you're creating it in KV Core or sending it through KV Core?
Correct. Yeah.
So how do you create it?
The template, I can use the email template, and I use the advanced one so I can add video and pictures and a little better text in there, and then each week I just update, I just clone it and change the date, and then I send it via the scheduled the mass schedule email.
Gotcha.
You do that every week?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
give us an idea what you're putting in every week, because I'm with Jody. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I just aggregate. I make it personal. I never did like when I used to send out those ones that people they kind of do for you, and they send them out and they look like every other realtor's email. So I kind of personalize it, and I just have 4 sections. And one is community corner. So I just find something that's happening in the community, some special event, like around here we do, the beer brats festival, or we just added a skating rink for a little while. And so I'll add, put something in there, or if they're doing something, that they're voting on something, or, adding a park or whatever. So I just try to do something, I call it community corner. And then I'll put something real estate oriented, is it a buyer's market yet? I do a monthly update from the MLS on what our market is doing, a little video that, where our price is going, what's happening in the counties that I serve. Or just, some general information, usually, coming from, realtor.com or Housing Wire or something, just talking about what's happening in the real estate market, or some advice on, how to buy homes, or, kind of some, it's fairly generic, but I add my own words to it and relate it to the local market. And then the third section I have is called senior strategies. And so that's where I emphasize my knowledge in the senior market. And that's kind of hard to find, a little harder to find articles for that one. But I try to use the senior, SRES, realtor.com. And then I found there's a couple of other sources that do some senior activities. And so I try to put things in there, things like, the downsizing and living situations. Or I did have one that they were developing a Alzheimer's vaccine. And so I put that in there. So just try to find something senior related, trying to capture that market. And then the last thing is just kind of general helpful hints around the house, maintaining appliances, what you should be doing this time of year for your house. Last week, they had just completed the Consumer Electronics Show. And I really like that. I used to work at Intel, and so I'm kind of technology. I like the technology. And so it was, I put in videos and articles about all of the home technologies that are available or are coming in the future. And so yeah, it takes me a while to do that each week, but I kind of enjoy it. It kind of keeps me up to date on what's going on, and it gives me a chance to do a little bit of blogging.
I hope everybody's taking notes, because you're getting free tips real quick. And Dan, I just wrote down a ton. Jody, I put a ton. And Catherine, I got some too. So it's
That's
a thing.
impressive.
I'm not doing this just for everybody else to learn. I'm here to learn too. So who's next?
That's really good stuff there, Dan. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Dan, where are you at?
I'm in the Olympia, Washington, about an hour south of Seattle. So hi, Michelle, up there in Snohomish. Hope you guys stayed out of the flood zone last week. It was a little touch and go down our way.
Thank you for sharing.
So I'll go next.
Go for it.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank you guys in the Seniors Network for arranging the Go Straley SER designation, which I got last week. And the Straleys are fantastic. They were great teachers, motivators, and so I got my designation last week. So first of all, I'm Sadna, and I'm in Canada. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I'm very much interested in the seniors market, more from a personal level than anything else, because I went through dementia with my mom and having to transfer her into a care home, and then COVID hit, and trying to deal with COVID and trying to see her, and then eventually watching as she passed away due to loneliness, and then not being able to see her just tore her up. She stopped eating and she died. And again, only time we got to see her was at the hospital when they knew that she was going to die, and they said, okay, well, now you can come and see her. So that was pretty tragic for me and for my family. My father is 84 years old, lives on his own. And he's a senior who wants to age in place. So there's a lot of challenges with that. So I'm learning from my dad and hoping that the things that I've learned from my personal experience, I will be able to help the seniors in my community. I dealt with a lot of seniors in my life. I lived with my mother-in-law, took care of her until she passed away, grew up in a household where my grandmother was part of our family. And in our culture, we tend to live with our extended family. So it's something that I'm quite familiar with, but we seem to be getting away from that. So the seniors are now more isolated, living on their own. And the last 2 years of COVID definitely has taken a toll on them, and trying to get them, a lot of them wanting to move out of their homes and go into smaller properties because the upkeep was too much for them. No family members would come and help them with taking care of their homes, and they were scared to allow their family into their homes. So a lot of personal stuff, like I said, and with the designation now in Canada, I'm trying to figure out where I should be marketing myself in the seniors community. So I signed up with CARP, which is AARP for you guys, but C for Canada, for CARP. So I advertise in their monthly newsletter. And that's $50 a month for me, and it's in the community, which is cheap. And the funny thing is, I have a designation called CPCA, which is Certified Professional on Aging Consultant here in Canada. And the lady who did that class with me, one of the recipients of the newsletter, who was from the Rotary Club, forwarded to her. And then she sent me an email. She goes, great ad. And then I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. So the guy from the Rotary Club sent it to her. So I called her up again. I said, hey, I need your help. I need to know where to advertise. She goes, sure, I'm going to help you. So I have a Zoom scheduled with her next week to try and figure out where to advertise in the seniors community. And so I will keep you guys updated once I hear about where I can advertise. But for now, the CARP has been good for me. And I think that the chapter that I signed up with is, I think she said there's 1,800 emails that go out. So that's going to be good. Now there's another thing that I subscribe to, and I get emails from them. It's called Daily Caring. Okay, so if you guys subscribe to that, it's got practical senior care tips for everyday challenges. So I think you guys can look at that. And then for everybody who's creating a newsletter, and Dan, thank you so much for your tips. This is your senior strategies, what made me look at my email. I thought, oh, I'm getting all these emails. I just am not doing anything with them yet. But, you know, like best of the most recent one was the best of 2021. She's got 10 of the best for 2021 tips. So again, we use those. We got 10 newsletters cut. Well, Dan, for you, that's only 2.5 months of newsletters, but for others, you know, that's quite a lot of material to put in the seniors section for your newsletter. You guys also had Marnie come in, and Marnie also emails everybody, and she's got a lot of great tips too. So use her as well. I really like her tips. And again, let me see if I can find, I don't know, Donald, if you have her contact, but Marnie, I'm just trying to see if I can see one of her recent emails, but she's actually got great content too.
Yeah, Marnie's excellent. She did our Senior Citizens Day last year. She was one of the speakers, and I keep in touch with her on a regular basis.
Okay. Yeah. So, oh, here I found her email. So her blogs are At Home with Marnie, and Marnie is MARNI. Again, she also looks back at 2021. She's got a part 1 and part 2. She's got a whole bunch of stuff in there that we can all learn from and add to our newsletter. So I think these are really great. You guys have brought in some great people. So I've always signed up with them. Check out their articles. The other thing is for the Nextdoor app, I created a senior section in my Nextdoor. And so I just throw in stuff from these people into my next door.
So Donna, did you have to be a member of AARP or the CARP in order to?
No, I did
advertise?
not. But I did sign up as a member as well, so I could get their newsletters and see what kind of stuff they were putting in there. So she told me I did not need to be a member to advertise. But however, I did sign up. I am a senior, according to what we advertise at. I am 50 plus. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just look and see what kind of stuff they're offering anyway. So I am a member in addition to that. So what I want to do is I want to reach out to my areas of where I do real estate and sign up with them to advertise in those CARP newsletters.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Congrats on your SRES.
Thank you very much. I was very proud of that. And like I said, the Australians were awesome. They're great people.
Yes, they are a great asset to EXP to pick them up. So
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and the SRES designation classes will make sure that we have several throughout the year, so that if anyone else wants to ever get their SRES, a lot of the people here are already at SRES designation. It'll be available for you.
and if you can't wait, you can always go to NAR and pick it up there.
I have a
So
question for you.
go for it.
So I was, Rahidi, I was in the class also. Nice to
Yes,
see
you did.
again.
Yes, you were. I know. I recognized you, Shelley.
So we had a great 2 days in that class, and it's interesting you mentioned Nextdoor, because I found myself for some reason on Nextdoor this weekend, and I'll admit I'm not usually on Nextdoor, even though I am a member in my little community. I never paid for the like real estate zip code that you can get on Nextdoor, because where I live, it's highly populated. I'm kind of in South Florida where everyone's a realtor. And so I felt like when I moved to East Boca, which was 6 years ago, there were already so many in that I wasn't going to make that my focus. But what you just said, something you just said was interesting, that there's a subgroup that you created. Like, are there groups in Nextdoor the way there are groups in Facebook?
You can
Yes.
create, you can
Yes.
create a group.
So I
Okay.
started 2 groups in my community. I did the seniors one, and I also did a real estate buy and sell group.
Okay, something for me to look into, because I often get very frustrated with Nextdoor. I feel like it's such a messy interface. Like there's so much going on. And I'm only 52. I can't imagine what like someone who's like, 75, like how they would feel looking at it. I just feel like it's very cluttered, which is ironic because it's a highly successful company. I think I saw the guy on Shark Tank recently who started Nextdoor, and what did he sold it for like $50 billion or some crazy number. And I actually was watching that Shark Tank with my son, and we both looked at each other. We're like, can't believe Nextdoor is worth that money. It's such an awful place to be. We don't use it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thank you for the tip. Gonna go back to Nextdoor and check that out. Appreciate
You know
it.
what? No, it can't hurt. Can't hurt. Just create the group and throw and take the ideas that you throw into your newsletters, put it in there too.
Right, but how much time do you find that you're spending? Like for me as a single agent now, I used to be with a team, and now as a single agent, I'm realizing my time is so precious. So if I get down that rabbit hole on Instagram or down a rabbit hole on Nextdoor, is the ROI really worth it? Because I could go on Nextdoor, if it's only like a 10-minute spend of time, that's fine. But like, there are some days where I'll end up answering prompts and commenting on people in Facebook groups for my local community that before I know it, 45 minutes has gone. It's 8 o'clock and then it's 8:45 and I haven't even had a cup of coffee. It's like, I have to be careful with my time. So I'm wondering, how much time do you feel this cultivating on Nextdoor takes you?
So what I tend to do is if I tend to do my posting in the evenings when it's kind of like my TV time, my downtime. And I sometimes do it in front of the television, get onto my phone and just share what I already have shared on Instagram and Facebook. So I use an app called Ripple, RIPL. It is a paid one. But what I like about it is that I can share it. So when I create one of those ads, I'm sharing it to all of the social media platforms other than TikTok. I'm waiting for them to get into TikTok. I find that helps me because I'm so good at it now. I've been using it for a year now, and I find it's sharing at the same time, and I can create a story out of it.
Mhm.
Because it's short enough, the video is short enough that you can post it outside of being a reel, it can be on the story. So that's what I'm trying to do on a regular basis. And I have a Mindset Monday. So I try and religiously do a Mindset Monday posting, and I try and do a Friday Funnies. Those are two that I
across
everything, and just be consistent with your colors, consistent in your headings, and I try and do that every week. Now the funnies I'm running into trouble with because some of the jokes are so lame, I don't want to use them. But the mindset, not a problem. I am consistently doing Mindset Monday.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thanks so
And
much.
so if you guys have good jokes, hey, let's share them. I'm just, after a year of jokes, I'm out of jokes now. So I did like my Friday Funnies, but I seem to have run out of jokes.
So going back to Nextdoor in the US, you want to be real careful as a realtor, because they are asking realtors to pay a fee to advertise on their site. For me, it was, I think Debbie and I did it at the same time. It was like $280 something a month.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got up to $319 a month.
It's $319 now.
Well, no,
Wow.
it was $319 when I stopped.
Okay. Well, they won't let you put advertising up, whether it's in a group or not, for real estate ads. So you couldn't put real estate ads on Nextdoor unless you were paying them their fee. And in our area, the sad thing is they weren't just doing our community. They were doing outside our community too, which is not a 55 plus community. So we had, out of the 5 or 6 homes they would show, 4 of them would be outside and 2 of them might be inside, which is really not what we were looking to pay for. So you want to be careful. I don't know how it is in Canada, but in the US, I know they're trying to get every penny they can get out of anybody.
So that's what I was going to add. I'm highly involved with Nextdoor in our area. Be extremely cautious in how much you brag or show that you're a realtor. So what you're doing as far as groups for, seniors group, our whole area is seniors. So, that's what Nextdoor is. But be very careful and not say, Debbie the realtor, Shelley the realtor. Be, Shelley the resident of whatever you're of. And, just kind of say, hey, I ran across this cool tip. Because the more that you put out there real estate, the more chance you get of being knocked off of Nextdoor, either temporarily or permanently. And you don't want to be banned from Nextdoor. They're getting pretty fierce in our area on a lot of topics. So we've had about 10 people in the last 2 months get kicked off of Nextdoor that I'm aware of. So just be very careful with Nextdoor of how much you put out there you're a realtor. Have it in your profile because people will go look. But, give the tips. And since you're not in a totally 55 plus community, having a seniors group or how to downsize group or living choices, any of those would be great choices for a Nextdoor group that's not a 55 neighborhood like we are. So,
Good advice. Good advice. I think Nextdoor is new to Canada, so they aren't as strict yet. But thank you for the warning. I'll keep that in mind. But I try not to do too much of bragging about myself. I do try and stick to giving updates, like Dan is doing. Market updates, local updates, more for my area, commenting on other people's posts about our local neighborhood. If something happens, then I do try and comment. So so they see your name coming up in the local posts. So so just being a participant rather than being a poster all the time also should help us.
and that's exactly it. Canada probably is a little bit behind the US as far as sticklers, but if you get one person in your area that looks at the guidelines, they'll take you down. So
Thanks for the warning. I'll keep that in mind.
it's just, we've had major problems in this area, and I do get leads off of Nextdoor, but I'm very visible. And when people have a question in this area, I'm the one they private message. So who else can share? What are you doing? Where's your leads coming from? Where'd you get your business for 2021? Amy, go for it.
Well, the last one that I had a call from, I think she got me off my website. She called and said, I have to have the senior strategist. I need the senior strategist. Like, okay. So I think she got it off my website. And I just recently realized, as I'm learning the business, I haven't been doing it very long, that Google, I need to put pictures on Google. And I got so many hits, like people looking at it off just by adding pictures and such to that. And so I think that's where she came from, my sphere of influence. And then what was my other one? Oh, just networking. I met somebody going to different around town meetings of other businesses just to network. And I got a link that way. And right now I'm really working hard at getting probate started, and I'm a little skittish on it. And I know W do probate. I'm afraid I'm going to get out there and they're going to ask me some questions, and I'm not going to know the answers. And so I'm a little skittish about it, but I really do like it. And I want to dive deeper into it. So that's what I've been working on lately. But then Donald, I also have a question, because you posted your certification for the senior home safety specialist. And I want to know a little bit more about that. How is that? Is that just an add-on to this CAPS program, or is it something completely different?
It's just a different program. So it took me about 5 hours to do. It's self-paced, so you can do an hour today, 3 hours tomorrow. It's totally up to you. It's done in sections. To me, I think it's all about keeping the home safe is really what it's about. It was about, grab bars. It was about lighting, keeping walkways nice and clear, building ramps and things like that for the home. And I think what it enables you to do is be able to market yourself as a senior home care specialist, that you can go in and do assessments for seniors to make sure that they have the proper tools that they need to stay safe in their home, and to also, get in and out of their home safely as well.
So it's pretty similar then to CAPS, is that right?
My understanding is it's probably a part of CAPS, just broken out into a separate certification.
Okay.
So if you have CAPS, it probably includes most of what was.
So it was probably covered in that. This isn't any new information then.
Would be my guess.
Is there a annual renewal membership type thing with either one of those?
I'm not sure if there is.
I think CAPS has an annual fee.
I do too.
but I don't
know
know
the
what it is.
local one. Yeah, because you have to join your local Home Builders Association in addition to the National Home Builders Association. And I
What
think
does
you have
the
to renew
CAP
that every
stand
year.
for? I'm not sure I know what that is.
Certified Aging in Place Specialist. And it's
Oh,
through the National Home Builders Association,
Right.
which AARP and Lowe's are teaming up with to, and they're putting CAP specialists in the Lowe's stores.
Interesting. So Amy, on your Google pictures, what kind of photos you putting out there?
I just went through what I had put on Instagram and Facebook and just, you know, more of myself. I really hate doing that, but I know that that's what people do. So that nothing too personal. I kept those on my other accounts, but like my sold signs, I got a coffee mug for Christmas that says the Senior Strategist. I had a picture of me with that on, just silly ones like that. And then as I work, I'm just going to add just whatever I put on Instagram and Facebook. I'm just going to add it over there, kind of the same.
Are you putting it on your Google My Business? Is that where you're putting it?
I guess that's right. Google My Business. Mhm.
Yeah, and Amy, you're doing a good thing. If you got one call already that says, I want to talk to the senior strategist, you're doing it right. I worked with a guy years ago that wore what I'll call Scottish knickers, the golfing pants, you know, the kind of what we would call the capris of the world. And he dressed like that every day of the week. But he had a tagline to go with that. Well, everybody knew him in Naples, Florida. I mean, the whole world knew him, and he still sells down there. But if you have what I call a tagline that people catch, you're doing good, because that's
Yeah.
what they're after.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the encouragement.
Yeah, when you get a lead, everybody, ask them, how did you find me? Where'd you find me? Sometimes they say internet, and I say, well, can you narrow it down? You know, because internet's kind of broad. I want to know if my time on Nextdoor is paying off or my time on whatever's paying off. So you need to keep track of where your leads are coming from, because that's where you spend your time, Shelley, is where is it paying off? I do a lot of networking with realtors for two reasons, obviously, but it's the thing that I work it for realtor referrals. So I get a ton of realtor referrals. So who else can share?
All right, Mike, go ahead. We only have so many guys in the group. Your turn.
I'm not going to have much to share. I mean, I've last year I did investor leads, so my leads came from Bigger Pockets.
So how do you get those investor leads?
I'm just signed up with Bigger Pockets. I don't have to pay anything. I did do that for a while, but now they're just getting to me organically, just people that go to that site. You know, I'm listed out there as a realtor, and I have a real estate business as well, investing business. So they reach out to me because I'm on the site.
So what site are you talking about?
Bigger Pockets.
Bigger Pockets, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's mainly people that go there looking for investment education. So they tend to be people that are new. Some are new to investing altogether, new to real estate. I've got several that have contacted me in the last year that are college students. They're like 20 to 23 years old, wanting to get into real estate investing, and they've never bought any real estate at all. So a lot of these potential clients can be a lot of work. Certainly not the seniors market, but I can see really on the investing world where there's some overlap with the seniors market and the investing world, because a lot of seniors' homes are falling into disrepair, and they end up being in a condition that really only an investor could buy if they're not fixed up. So not all the time, but it's happened. I did have a couple senior leads a couple of years ago, but those were referrals from friends.
I haven't heard of Bigger Pockets, and I'm like, well, wow, he must be doing really well. He's into some bigger pockets. So, yeah.
Not me personally.
I'm like, okay, that's like name dropping, but that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, just go to biggerpockets.com, and it's an educational site for investors. And you should be able to put your information out there as well, and potentially get some leads.
Yeah, so when you're thinking about the seniors end, not right now because the market is too hot, too high. But I was seeing a lot of people in their 40s, 45s that said, well, I want to buy, 2 houses a month, a house a month, one every 6 months, whatever their strategy was, because they wanted to turn around and retire at 55 and sell those off. And that was their retirement plan. And so if you look at that avenue too, when the market changes a little bit, that, we're not paying top dollar for a house, you'll find people that are looking to take some of their extra monies and invest. Donald's son's doing some of that right now. So it's the thing that's another avenue for the investment side. Our market, the investors, there's not enough return for most of them here, so they kind of shy away from us. So
yeah, the investing market right now is tough. I mean, it's tough enough for retail buyers to find a deal. And I've got investor clients that come to me looking for, a house that just needs a little bit of work, and they want it discounted. And I have to let them know that they're going to end up paying a premium for a house that needs a little bit of work. That if they really want to be competitive in the investing world, they have to find homes that need a lot of work. There's going to be fewer people that are willing to do those.
Right. And that's what I tell some of the buyers here that need to sell a house, close on a house, and buy a house like back to back. Then you got to find a house that is not the most desirable, meaning it needs a whole lot more work. And so you have to be willing to, get in on that and do some of that yourself, because otherwise they're all going to be gone before you get around to selling your house.
Well, I'm really finding that, and I think a lot of retail agents are finding that you need to reach out and get to the homeowners before they even go in the market. A lot of investors I know are wholesalers, so they're already out there looking for deals. They're looking for discounted homes that are in disrepair. But even the retail side, a lot of agents I've talked to are now doing the same thing, because a lot of times by the time the home is listed in the MLS, it's almost too late.
Right. Amy, I did put in the chat, and for everybody else too, the MTI education for probate. That is a good class if you really want to.
I took it. I have it.
Yeah. So it, for anybody that wants to get their feet wet in the probate side, please look at that.
Did you buy into the data, probate data stuff and all the extras that come with it?
Well, they didn't have that when I took it, and one of our agents took it because he moved over to St. Petersburg, Florida. And so he's starting over, and they have it over there for him, but they actually don't have the data for our area. So the answer is no. I have purchased data from some other places, but it's just as easy to get the data yourself. Once you get your feet wet and know where to look. And back to Mike and the investors, I will tell you that every probate case that hits the court records is getting hit by investors with oh, I'm sorry, but do you want to sell your house and I'll sell it, or I'll buy it, and no inspections, no nothing, and we'll take care of everything for you letter.
Well, I'm hearing people that I know that have homes in the $200,000 to $500,000 range, and they're getting constantly hit with with contacts of investors that are looking to buy their homes. So it seems like the price point has moved up quite a bit from where it used to be for those types of contacts.
Mm.
They're looking for homes, and could be the case like I was speaking about earlier, that there's a lot of agents looking for homes that they could put on the market.
So Debbie, were you saying that they are going more with the investors than they are realtors?
No, but it confuses the family. They don't know which way to go because they want a quick sale and they don't want to do anything. They don't even hardly want to clean out the stuff out of the house. So when they get the "I'll do everything for you" letter, it's very tempting, even at a reduced price, you know, if it's 5% off of what market is. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of those type letters hit our market here. So,
Mike, have you ever looked into Roof Stock? It's an investor website.
Yeah, I did glance at that one. I haven't gone into it too deep yet. There's so many sites to review.
Yeah.
You know, I've been dealing a lot with LoopNet and looking in the commercial world too. I just took the commercial class last fall, so that's really piqued my interest.
Mike, where are you located?
Richmond.
Thank you.
Sure.
Who else can share?
Frenchman up in Jupiter. Are you? Mike, are you in Jupiter?
Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, Richmond. I thought you
Yeah.
said Frenchman. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Been
how
here
about
quite a
you?
while.
What's that?
My internet is a little spotty. I think you said Michelle, but if you didn't, I'm sorry if I'm jumping in, but I'm from Snohomish, Washington, about 45 minutes north of Seattle, actually, and I'm a newer agent. I've been licensed for a year, and I got my SRES just over Christmas break, and I'm excited to just learn and get myself out there and, you know, market myself as a resource to my community.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you're grabbing a lot of these little golden nuggets tonight. Everybody's got some really good information as far as how to work and deal in the senior market. Isabel.
Yes, hi everyone. Yes, actually I'm the marketing assistant for my sister. She's a realtor with EXP. Her name is Soledad Garcia. And I always like to come out and join you guys every Tuesday because I always learn a lot. But my sister and I have been doing real estate full time for about 1.5 years. And right now it's last year, we mainly got most of our leads through our Sphere. And during that time, we're also just building our systems up, getting our Google My Business page up and running, and then sending out handwritten cards every month to our sphere of influence. And we also started a campaign that we collaborated with the lender for one of our nearby farms. So we've been doing that for like 6 months consistently. And right now I'm in the process of creating a newsletter for our sphere, including our vendors. And my sister is also, she wants to specialize in probate, and she has her CRES designation that she got as well. So we're just learning and also just creating the systems right now. So that's where we're at right now.
So what do you put in your handwritten notes every month?
Oh, you know, I basically add like any type of tip, like reminding them to get their AC maintained or their furnace maintained, anything that's real estate related, something of value to them. And I never ask for referrals, and that's about it. But I just try to keep in touch with them. And then my sister also calls her sphere a few times a year just to touch base with them as well. But we're doing a lot of videos as well. So we're going to be doing more videos this year.
And videos is where it's at. That's what I got to get past and start doing.
Yes. So and she's trying to do more videos and just being consistent about it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
I did put in the chat 55places.com. If you're in the US, that's a good website. If you don't know where your 55 plus, 62 or 65 plus communities are near you, go on there. Don't sign up for an account because you don't want to get contacted by the realtors that are paying them to advertise there. But it's the thing, you definitely can see where your senior communities are near you.
So like I tried to get on and to become a realtor with them. And I don't know if I'm answering the questions right, or if I've just not done it long enough or what, but I kind of wanted to get my name out there. So some of the other people that I know in town that are 55 plus agents places agent, I see their pictures on all their websites and such. And so I know they're getting business or at least referrals that way. Even if it's not through 55 places, they still see them. And so I was wanting to know if y'all had any advice for that.
Yeah, so what they do, I was a 55 places agent for a couple of years. What they do is they have so many agents in an area. Once they have that number of agents, depending on the number of residents, they cut it off. So they may not reach out to you because they've already reached the number of agents that they want in that area. What you want to do is you want to call them and ask to be put on their list of agents that are interested in your particular area. So that if somebody falls off or somebody's not performing, they'll bring a new agent on, and they will kick you off if you're not performing.
Okay, so I should call and not just fill out the forms.
Fill out the forms, but call too. Calling will show that you're truly interested.
Okay, thanks.
So what was the percentage that they were charging last, Donald? I was their agent for here for 5 years. So that was a long time ago. Huh?
They're up to 35% referral.
There you go. So it's not for everybody. It is time consuming, but you will get leads. Just realize it is time consuming. And like Donald said, you have to stay on top of their leads. If they think you're not working them, you're gone. I gave it up after 5 years.
Can you sell a home in some of those neighborhoods if you are not one of their agents?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just aren't getting the leads.
Yeah, you're just not getting the leads. It's just their intent is to be able to provide information in all 55 plus communities. And they don't have the entire list of 55 plus communities in the country. They just don't. They have a good number of the communities here in Florida, but they don't have nowhere near what the true number of communities are here in Florida.
I think they go for what I call the major players. So the Del Webbs of the world, a lot of those, obviously the Villages, but they go after the big players, and then there's other smaller ones that they don't worry about, because if somebody calls about, XYZ, they'll tell them about ABC also. So it's a good resource. Well, we've taken the whole time for this one topic. So what else did anybody have on their mind?
This is great stuff.
I think we're going to stick to this. We'll do this once a month, just because there's lots. It seems like every time we have one of these sessions, there's lots of good information that comes out of it. We have, people coming in and out of these sessions. And so there's other people bringing really good information. The next door thing, Debbie's the master at that one. She has this community down to a pat. And a lot of it is just looking at it from a contribution standpoint. That's what people are looking for, because I know Debbie gets the kudos award for that. She answers as much as she can answer. But again, going back to Shelley, how much time do you spend on it? And that's, time management. You just have to determine how much time you want to spend on anything, whether it's social media, whether it's cold calling, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever. I think the key thing is time block. Going back to managing your time. And don't forget, you got to have a life too.
And that's why I said you got to know where your leads are coming from. What's paying off? If you signed up for Zillow and you're getting a ton of leads and it's paying off for you and you're closing enough deals, great. If Nextdoor is it, great. But you have to know where your leads are coming from. Mine primarily come from Sphere, referrals from agents, and then social media.
So on that, Debbie, so I've seen where they have, it's a dialer deal or something. You could do WhatsApp or something where you have a different phone number, and then when you put it on this advertisement or on your sign or wherever, where you're getting that from. I've heard.
Yeah,
are y'all familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's an old technique, and that's pretty much died away. The brokers used to do that in their newspaper or their Homes magazine because they wanted to know what was paying off. But I think that confuses the consumer because now they see 5 different phone numbers if you're doing 5 different advertisements. And I want everybody to know what phone number to call me on.
Okay.
So I just ask them, where did you find me? Well, my sister saw you on blah, blah. They'll tell you, they'll give you enough clues that you can figure it out. Anybody else have anything? We're at the 8 o'clock hour.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for your time this evening. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Next
Thank
Tuesday
you.
will be
Good
announced.
night.
Have a great
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
It's always good.
Thank you, everyone.